So now we're set, and we're here with a special guest.
We got a great show on board here today.
Sure do.
And just want to give kudos and thank you to my wonderful nephew, David Beasley. He is the creator of the song. Hopefully you could hear it. That is the Chips and Salsa original theme song. We did it in Arizona. We're just following tradition for here. Rocking it.
Rocking it. Welcome. We also have Mr. Rick Reynaud. Not Reynaud, Reynaud.
Reynaud.
That's correct.
Because it's French, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So we'll get into your French descendants here soon.
Okay.
And we do have to give him credit, though. He's half Latino, too. Okay.
That's right. And I'm very honored to be here with you guys.
Are you half Hispanic or half Latino?
I'm half Hispanic, Munoz.
Oh.
Actually, I am 20% indigenous from my mother. She's 40% indigenous. So I'm 30% Hispanic, 20% indigenous, 30% Hispanic, and 50% white guy. French.
50% what you might want to get
Got it.
Get the mic a little bit closer. Right there.
Excellent. Yeah, so we're going to start off and do kind of like our regular shtick that we do. And feel free to weigh in, Rick. But we are going to devote a chunk of time because Rick is running for the Las Cruces City Council District number 6. Right on.
That's right. Great. And so, yeah, like typical Chips and Salsa, we're going to open up with some national, some local, and then Rick, you feel free to chime in if there's any issues that really get you upset, that get you itching, you want to say something, go ahead and jump on in. But I like to start the show. I would see what Alice has got. I'm always curious to see what Alice, because we watch different news. We always have. So it's always interesting to bounce ideas off of another conservative from a different perspective.
And I also want to give thanks because a lot of our fans, they text us, they do the messenger thing on Facebook, and there's so much stuff to keep up with. Sometimes we can't keep up with all of it. So special thanks to all the chipsters out there. But of course, I think the first thing that we really have to talk about right now, first of all, actually, we do need to give thoughts and prayers for that horrible, horrible Catholic school shooting. That's awful.
Right.
And it's unfortunately a reflection of our times. I just came from Mass, actually. This is Saturday evening. And I just want to, my heart goes out to all that. And let's pray that no more of that stuff happens. But the next story that caught me today, actually, I didn't know anything about this, I'm a Benny Johnson person, so that's how I found out about it. But evidently there's been a rumor going around that President Trump was dead, that he had died. And of course, that was a big rumor, a crazy rumor.
I never heard of that.
See, you didn't even hear about it.
Nope.
So it was probably as fast as it came to fruition, it was over. But what is true, though, President Clinton, they have video. He's not doing too well. He's a little older. I think he's 80, right?
That I saw, yeah.
And now he's carrying around a defibrillator.
Right.
So that one is not a rumor. That actually is true. But I mean, they've thrown just about everything they can at President Trump. This is like the ultimate thing. They're trying to rumor him dead. And I don't really know too much about it more than what I've told you here. Rick, you haven't heard anything about it, have you?
I had not heard about it.
Okay. Well, that's kind of good. It didn't really circulate. But the other thing, too, is, remember when we did the show last week, the big story, too, was the Cracker Barrel was cracking, and they were trying to, to redo their whole business. And boy, did that was an epic fail. They got Bud Lighted, yeah.
And that bothered you. I don't see Alice perturbed too often, but that she really didn't like that Cracker Barrel. You were upset about that. How are you feeling now about that?
Well, I feel like good because I think, remember my mom saying, no hay mano que bien no venga, right?
Right.
So that stuff that happened and it backfired horrible. I mean, now we know about the CEO who is making a bunch of money, and we're finding out that they were kind of warned. They said, "Nah, you really shouldn't do that." And all the people that were upset about it, that's classic. Cracker Barrel's a classic. And they tried to ruin it, just like they're trying to ruin the traditions and values of America. It's kind of the same thing, this woke stuff. So now I think it's going to go back and be stronger than ever. And as our President Trump said, goes, you couldn't get more publicity, man. They got plenty of publicity. I mean, did you have any other thoughts and it had turned around quick, don't you think?
Yeah, it was the same thing. I mean, it's very patternistic the way things are going down. I mean, the same thing happened with Target, all these Bud Light, all these companies who, and what I later found out is they took a ton of money. Usually what's going on is the board and the CEO, they get offered a ton of money and they all collectively say, okay, look, it's a cost benefit analysis. Like, look, we'll take the money. We know they're going to reject it, but we're still going to come out on top personally. even though the company takes a big hit, they individually come up and they can weather the storm and go back anyway. It's just a pattern. They sell out that company temporarily so they can profit individually. That's what I understand is going on, and it seemed like that's exactly what happened with Cracker Barrel.
And I tell you what was powerful to me. You probably saw the video, and it was a young gal, a waitress, server. See, I don't even have the right term.
Oh Lord,
server. And she made like a little selfie video saying, you know what, tonight is like the first night or second night, I only have 2 tables or 3 tables.
Wow.
And normally it would be 3 or 4 times because I've made $15. I mean, and that's a hard job. I was like one summer I helped out some friends and I was a server at a little coffee shop here in Las Cruces.
Yeah.
That is hard work. Yeah. But so I'm very happy with what transpired eventually. And hopefully this will be of benefit to other companies thinking they need to change their wokeness. Any thoughts, Rick?
It's kind of changing the logo is the same thing the Doña Ana County just did.
Thank you. We talked about that. Yes.
Yeah, they streamlined it and removed the conquistador, and the same thing. They're just trying to erase history.
Yeah, and I never was served, but I had, growing up, I had really good friends that became bartenders that worked at restaurants and stuff, and I understand the kind of stuff they do. Like that's why that no tax on tips is a big deal.
Big deal.
And then you see the Democrats now, like Congressman Gabe Vasquez, oh, no tax on tips. Like, bro, where the hell have you been? But no, I do understand. The lifestyle is tough. She's not making that kind of the money she was making. Why would she keep working there? Why would she keep working? Right. She's got to quit. So it was a horrible idea. I'm so glad they got President Trump even got involved. He's like, go back to the old logo, guys. Come on. So that's good. We've been winning culture wars like left and right. And then even with this, recent issue that we had at the private school, the public school, it was handled much different than it was in the past. The way they've exposed what was behind it, his MO, the video. They usually don't let you see, when they have, they do their little video before they do the thing or they have a letter. They usually don't let you see that. But we got to see behind the scenes for the first time, that I saw. And, it was very dark. That kid was very disturbed. He seemed like he had multiple personalities. I don't know. Did you guys get a chance to see the video?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you guys never saw the video?
Parts of it.
Parts of it. Man, it's wild. He's talking to himself apart. It's pretty sad too, because you can hear him arguing with, you could say a demon or with his alternative, multiple personalities. But one side of him is screaming for help. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. He's telling that to himself. And then another voice kind of takes over and it's like, oh no, you're going to get in there and do this, man. And so it was just a really dark, wild, thing to see with what's going on around the country. This is a very common thing. It's the same MO, the same type of personality, the same type of lifestyle. We don't want to hit too much keywords here, but
well, I'm glad you brought that up though, because I saw a posting and I hesitated posting it because it freaked me out a little bit. It had 7 or 8 different incidences, and it said that all of the all the perps, antagonists were trans.
That's right.
And so it is true.
That's right. And their family always happens to have someone either involved with the CIA or involved with psychology. Like the El Paso shooter, his father was a psychologist as well. So there's a pattern of psychological parents who are professionals or in the CIA, and that's a regular pattern as well. So, I think it's just a matter of time before they start exposing this stuff on a bigger level, because who the heck likes seeing this happen? It's a nightmare,
Big nightmare. Now, and speaking of our Congressman Vasquez, has he issued an official statement about any of that, or have I just missed it?
I've not seen any real Democrats do anything like that. What about you, Rick?
I haven't seen any statements from him.
I have seen a lot of commercials. He's putting the ads out, and he's trying to go after, you billionaires, we got to go after the billionaires because that's the only way that you're going to get a tax break. So, he's starting. I think he's really getting intimidated for his race.
Yeah, well, I've been seeing, I rarely watch Netflix, but I was watching Netflix last night, and it was commercial after commercial against Gabe Vasquez. It was like 6 in a row.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah, it was hilarious. It just would not go away. I mean, it was kind of a cheesy commercial. Like, it was obviously paid actors, but they were just basically just throwing them under the bus, throwing Democrats under the bus. It was a well-done commercial. What I found interesting was it was like 6 in a row. So somebody's throwing some big money against the Democrats already. It's pretty nice to see. It was really refreshing.
That's not cheap. I was watching Gutfeld. I can't remember which one it was this week. But one thing that Tyrus was saying, they try to go after President Trump. But we have a border that's getting under control. There's so many good things that are happening. They're really stretching. They're really stretching. They really can't come up with too much.
What are they doing? I mean, they just don't have any. They're tanking worse ever. They're not raising any money. People are fleeing. I mean, that's been a big topic too recently. Is how many people from the Democrat Party are fleeing and going straight to Republican. That's happening nationwide, and they just don't have a leg to stand on. And I love it. They don't deserve it. I can't stand their policies. I think they've destroyed, especially the cities. All the cities, the major cities in this country, with the exception of like a few of them, are Democrat ran, and we all deal with crime, which is why I'm glad Mr. Reynaud is here, because he is running for city council, and he's been facing. I've been there kind of with him, with the CCIA and everything, but Mr. Reynaud has been deeply involved with local politics for many years now, and he understands the ramifications of these horrible progressive policies. Right, Rick?
Oh, that's right. About 4 years ago, I had a real short stint as in the Diana County Commissioner primary, and that was all it was. But back then, they told us there at Republican headquarters, "You're down 4 or 5. You're going to have to work harder."
Okay.
And now, when I went to run now, I was told, "Can you afford to lose your job?" I was really asked that question, and it's
Whoa.
like, well, I'm retired, so. And I was asked that. That's how nasty things.
Who
have gotten.
asked that?
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Well,
You can't say.
If you don't want to say, you don't
I'll
have
let
to.
you know. I'll let you know later.
Off the record.
And-
I'd have
Okay.
to kill you.
And Rick, the city council
was-
position is a paid position.
Oh yeah, I heard it's 39,000.
Is
No,
that what
no,
they
it's
pay?
way more than
I
that.
thought it was closer to 60.
It's like 72,000.
Oh, sorry.
To my understanding, it was 72,000.
We're going to have to get the figure on that. See, so evidently you weren't even in that mindset, or you would
yeah,
know
and-
how much.
I don't know if it's worth it. But I mean, I'll take it. But
No.
no matter what it was, I feel I need to get in there, and we have an opportunity, especially with Matisse, with former Mayor Bill Matisse getting in. That was a godsend, and this could be an opportunity. Wokeness is kind of going away. I just heard a national host talking about you could get fired only a few years ago for using the wrong pronoun, but now it's not quite that crazy. That fast, it's not quite that crazy of using the wrong pronoun. So hopefully it'll get better a whole lot quicker.
It's moving around. Do we have any other topics to hit before we start interviewing Rick, Zeke?
I mean, there's so
Any
much.
updates?
For me, national, global news, a lot of it's coming out with the UFO space program and all the dark agendas that come behind it. And just, when you hear about or think about the trillions of dollars that have been stolen from our government that are unaccounted for trillions of dollars, that's when you start talking about these massive government agencies that we don't know about. They're using our money to do all this, and that's been coming. I'm freely talking about it because it's out there now. They're using our money to do these crazy, hardcore space, projects, and they don't want us to know that the fact that they've been, hijacking us for decades. And so that's coming out. Be on the lookout for that, guys. I was listening. I was very intrigued with that recently, and I cannot wait to delve further into that because I just know we have access to free energy technology. We have access to life extension technology, and they've just been holding it. They've been hiding it from us while they've been toxifying the population at large. But the technology is there, guys. This is an abundant world. We can populate this planet easily and transcend it. There's enough resources here for everybody. This, scarce mindset is just something that's been shunned upon us by the controllers. And I'm just trying to throw some optimism out there, guys. Things are really, when that stuff starts coming out, the free energy technology and all that, and life cycle technology, that means humanity is going to be coming through in a big way. And so in the future, I'm very excited to cover that. But that's something I just briefly wanted to talk about.
And we do need to be excited about that. Like we talk about, instead of being a warrior, be a warrior. Because there are so many things, as you said, and you'll find that when we try to cover it every week, a little bit of it. And Zeke's the one, he keeps up with all that good stuff. And, I talked to a few people this week, and I'm trying to spread the word because we have some good candidates locally.
We do.
And the excitement is still not there. I think it hasn't quite hit them yet because there's still a mindset of, it's always kind of been this way. And, the people that get in are not the ones we want. But I tell you what, if you just can show up, because these races, especially on an off year, it's not a presidential election year, not that many people show up. But if you show up, we can win these things, man. And wouldn't that be the coolest thing to be back here and say, oh, we have Councilman Rick Reynaud talking to us about what's going on in the city council. Just think about that for a moment.
So on that note, I want to do one quick thing. Look, this is a different election, and me and Rick have been talking behind the scenes. This is a totally different political season. We're getting rid of absentee ballots very soon here. Okay, the elections are gonna have to prove U.S. citizenship. We're deporting people like crazy, and I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed Las Cruces has slowed down tremendously. This time last year, things were a lot more hectic in the streets. There was a lot more people, and I cruise around now, and it's a lot more. I think there was a lot of illegal people living here.
I think you're right.
You know, I've just, and the crime has been significantly lower than last year. I mean, so look, I'm glad Mr. Reynaud is here because, you know, it's very hard to find someone that has the balls to run for office around here. You know, because the people have apathy. The Stones, Bolas, I don't know. But I have a lot of respect for him. He knows what's going on. He knows the problems in our community. And, you know, we just wanted to give you a chance to introduce yourself. Go ahead, Rick. Let's talk a little bit about who you are, how long you've been here, and why you want to run, brother.
Okay, I'm Richard Reynaud, a lifelong Las Cruces resident. I'm a product of local schools, Immaculate Heart of Mary Elementary,
Really?
Lynn Junior High, Las Cruces High School,
Yay!
and New Mexico State University.
Oh, man. Totally 3 alma maters. You and me.
Wow, really?
Okay, you went to Lynn?
Lynn,
You survived Lynn?
Lynn Junior High.
I went to Lynn Junior High School straight out of Immaculate Heart of Mary. Yeah, you talk about culture shock. We couldn't believe it. But anyway, after college.
By the way, just let me interject. Lynn Middle School now, I think, but that's right next to the Young Park where that terrible shooting happened. But when you and I were going, it was a lot softer and nicer then. They had just built the park. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to just update people.
Yeah, I remember that park. They just built that park in Longmore. Harlow Longmore. I don't know if you remember the name.
Harlow
Isn't
Dynick?
there a coach?
Harlow Longmore. He would bring us out and make us run hills over there at the new park. Harlow Longmore. He had a. So anyway, after college, I moved to Roswell. I worked about 3 years in a small oil pump company, New Technology, and that's where me and my buddies we changed the pump enough and made it work that we got a U.S. patent on it. So I have my name on a U.S. patent with. Graham Thompson and Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons?
Yeah, the guy from
Kiss?
Kiss. Yeah, he came down to Roswell for a little while and kind of showed us something.
That's wild.
But that is his name, Gene Simmons. Well, it's not the Kiss Gene Simmons. So,
Oh, I thought it really was. I'm like, really?
yeah.
I was like, he's a lefty.
Anyway, I made it back to Las Cruces, started working at Holloman, and then White Sands, had a 29-year career there, and retired and thought I'd be retired. I was working 20 hours a week for my brother. Then he tragically passed away just suddenly back in 2017. And me and my wife had a decision: should we keep the business up or just stop and retire and enjoy things? And we decided we've got to go for it. He had hundreds of files that I could go by, and there was lots of good customers that believed in him. And they were coming to me, and they thought I knew things because I look like him.
Is your twin brother?
My twin brother.
Identical twin, right?
Yeah, it was hardest on his daughter.
I bet.
I'll bet.
Because they were there. So, but anyway, she's doing great. She was a distinguished business graduate from NMSU. She was the top business graduate the year she graduated. And so, anyway, the company, we decided to roll with it, and it turned into 50 or 60 hours a week until we finally got grabbed a hold of it. And now it's down to about 30 or 20. The workload is a little better once we figured things out.
Right.
So now you'll have time when you win city council, right?
I help. Yeah.
Good deal.
And you know what? I've seen them destroy people who've ran for city council, who've ran for school board. They really punish you for doing it, man. So and here's the thing. That's just the risk that we take. Even doing this show, even the things that I've done, I've been threatened, and people don't like that we're out here speaking truth locally. But when you run for office, it's tough. They make it really hard for you. But I don't think it's a big deal anymore. They're way behind. They're losing money. They're losing support. And we're going to be praying for you, man. We're going to be supporting you the whole way through. I mean, so they can say all the things that they want. I think that they're just scared. And but I have seen people get destroyed. You're a stand-up guy. You've been in front of them for years, and they haven't done nothing to you. And you've been out there like telling them what is up. Like, you're never disrespectful. That's the thing about you too, is you're always very respectful, very cordial. You stick to the facts. So you're a hard person to attack in a lot of ways because you're just so damn professional.
I was there at the county commission, and Amanda Askin mentioned that, even though I would say things, but I tried not to attack anyone directly. And what you're saying about people being destroyed by campaigns, 4 years ago, I can name two persons. I won't name them, that were just destroyed.
Yeah, me too.
By a campaign, by everything that goes into it.
You know, they got hammered. And a lot of it's just discouragement because these guys really want to help the kids. These guys really want to change the city for the better, and they put their heart and soul in this campaign. But I think you're so successful. You've been retired. You got a great company right now. You know, in your former brother, your past brother, and so your identity isn't just on this run. A lot of people, I think, they make a mistake by running for office, and that becomes their identity, who they are, and that's it. So when that gets taken away from them and say they don't win, their purpose is gone. And when you remove someone's purpose, it's because a lot of dark stuff you're going to deal with. So I think that you're going to be able to, whatever happens to you, because you're such a strong individual and you've been through so much, I think you're going to be a lot better off than most of these people, man.
And Rick, I just want to say, so I've only been back 3 years to Las Cruces, but I was born and raised here like Rick. And he was very involved at that time when I started getting politically active with the schools. He knows so much about our public education system. So I think that you know how serious it is. We have to get this town right to make it good for the kids, for the children. And anytime that I think about, if I have a question about the public schools, you're one of the first people I think to ask about what's going on, because you've been following this a long time.
Yeah, we fought hard in 2021. Zeke was there. Yeah, we could make a show about what we did in 2021. We exposed a lot of things. In the end, we got hammered. I really thought in 2021 that they were going to carry us out like we won the Super Bowl, the school board, because we found out about the white talk in classrooms and it kind of didn't turn out that way. And we would get the evidence and we would send them right to the school board, the evidence of give Hispanic students a little bit more time because their culture does not value punctuality. We took it out, we sent it to the school board, and it's like they had equity earplugs and equity eyelashes, and they nothing could sway them.
That's a great line.
Nothing.
Equity earplugs. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, the only momentum, I think, and I'm not trying to take anything away from what we all did. We all sacrificed a lot going to those meetings and stuff. But if you remember, I went up there and I told them, hey, the CRT is just Marxist. It's a Marxist theory. Dr. Lada, maybe you're related.
I don't think I'm related. I hope I'm not. I got to find out, though.
They basically said that I had accosted her. I was being disrespectful. They banned me from public schools for a year. We were praying together in the parking lot, at the end of the whole thing. But
they said that you accosted her?
Basically.
I can speak to that incident. It was right after a school board meeting, May 4th, 2021.
Right.
And she was up there talking about how she wants dialogue and people need to know their identities. So we're out there after the meeting, and there's a group of us and them, and she didn't like that you mentioned Marxism with et cetera. But there was no nothing untoward towards her.
No.
And now the investigation by Las Cruces Public Schools, they never talked to anybody from our side. They didn't talk to me. They didn't talk to Chuck Wendler.
He was there, yeah.
They didn't talk to anyone, and that's why the investigation was botched. They realized it, and then you put the pressure on them, and then it's sort of, I don't know,
So
you can finish that story.
Are you guys saying you had evidence to present, but they never checked it out?
Well, this is that incident afterwards where they're accusing him of harassing her and following her to her car. And in that incident, they only used Dr. Lada. They didn't talk to anybody on our side that was there.
Yeah.
So that's why that investigation kind of evaporated. I'm not. You had an ending where.
Well, my lawyer at the time, I didn't know who else to call. I was like, I got to call a lawyer because they showed up to my place of business with the Las Cruces security police, which I don't even think they're in funding anymore. I don't think they're even around. So it was a Gestapo, lockdown Gestapo, you can say. They come to my business when I'm in the middle of work, and they serve me with basically a cease and desist. I couldn't go to public school grounds for an entire year because supposedly I had harassed her at that school board meeting. So, it was a complete lie. I had a bunch of witnesses where she said that I had followed her. We were praying in the parking lot together after the school board meeting. So it was absolutely ridiculous. And my lawyer sent them a nasty gram. And, 2 or 3, I think it was 2 school board members stepped down within that summer, right after that nasty gram went out by my lawyer. I don't know if it was from me, but I know 2 school board members at least had stepped down. If you remember. Do you remember that?
Yes, it was Senora Dolman and one other, but one
Yeah,
was Senora.
that's crazy.
Senora
Remember
Dolman.
that?
Yes,
That's crazy.
yeah.
So we had that, that kind of shook them a little bit, but we just kept pushing. Remember, we kept pushing and just like, man, I kind of gave up because you got to get elected officials in there. That's why I'm excited for you to run. And look, because he's going for city council, he's not going to deal with the students, the kids. This to me garners my respect, knowing that he's on the front line fighting for children. This is the kind of person that I do want in city council. So I'm not saying that city council has anything to do with school board. I know they don't. I understand that, but this is a good man here. He's been fighting for children. He's been fighting for people in the school board, even going to county commission meetings. He knows how local city government works.
I'll just say one little thing. I obtained some IPRAs. By IPRA, I obtained emails from NMSU, internal NMSU emails, and I'm still pushing that. And I think there's people at NMSU right now that
Little nervous, maybe.
they don't. They're kind of very nervous. It's anyway. So that's on the topic on the side.
Well, just to let people know, too, the IPRA is kind of like a public information that he made a request. That's what they call it here, right?
Yeah. Just to describe that quickly, these are NMSU's own internal emails, and their equity professors are referring to us, Las Cruces parents, as racist, angry, Hispanic racist. We were called hegemony's allies in alliance with da-da-da-ism. It's like, man, we got called 4-syllable names.
I'm not going to get too specific, but a lot of their behavior, their supposed behavior, alleged behavior, doesn't have statute of limitations. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into the specifics of that. So,
well, just to add this, one thing we did do is with my lawyer that I used to obtain the IPRA, my IPRA lawyer to obtain the emails, is we consulted him. Can we sue NMSU? And at that time, we couldn't. But it's still going along. I'm like a chihuahua. And I'm still on their ankle to this day.
That's what we need, man.
To this day, there's people that know about it. So that's enough of that.
But Rick, I think that's one of the reasons, as kind of on Zeke's point too, you would make a very good city councilman because you're a good communicator. You're unafraid to get up there and speak because people, they're intimidated, and we are the bosses. It's we the people, and you understand things, and you're a good researcher too. But tell us, what is the main reason that you said, okay, you know what, I'm going to run for city council? Because a lot of times when I would do these interviews back in Phoenix, I'm like, well, what the heck do you think you're doing running for, whatever office? Just because a lot of people are so intimidated and they can't even think about putting themselves out like that.
The main reason is the conditions in Las Cruces. And I'm a small business owner, and I've seen what's happened to I rent a small office in a bigger building, and I've seen what has happened to my business landlord. I've lived here since 1960. I've never seen it worse, ever. And it's getting worse. And maybe it's going to get a little better because there'll be less people in town. And but the wokeness is still there. We've got to get it out of NMSU, LCPS, and the city. And I'm getting a little bit off topic, but it's a crime. That's what really got to me. I can't stand it anymore. I can't stand seeing the homeless on medians. Okay, it's legal, and then they have their dogs, and it just drives me up a wall. Where's the animal rights people here in Las Cruces? Are there any anymore?
For real.
And there's a guy with 2 trained dogs at one intersection. That's great, but obviously he's a dog trainer. Why doesn't he go get a job?
Yeah, sounds like it.
So that just things like that just get me all shaken up, and I lost my train of thought just now. Running for office. That's some of the things that have made me want to run for office.
I totally identify because we're about the same age, and growing up here, and I would come, visit family. I have a lot of family here, and even the last 3 years, I moved back about 3 years ago. I saw things getting worse. Now, kudos to our police department because there is a little bit more presence. Chief Story, I think, is doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But we need good people to turn this around, public safety and so many other things.
I've been in this around politics so long and learning from the people that know a lot that sometimes the only way is you need people in those seats. You can put billboards up and great letters to the editor, but you need people sitting there in the seats, and that's what the other side realizes. That's why they're in almost every position here. So we just need people. Bill Matisse is there. every once in a while, Enriquez has a moment of common sense with what he was in Las Cruces when Mayor Enriquez was an assistant city manager, I believe, back when things were normal. Right. I don't understand.
Right.
So,
well, it sucks to talk about people directly, and especially in local politics. But this is the only way it's going to get hashed out. A lot of people have been disappointed with the mayor. A lot of people disappointed. I still gave him the benefit of the doubt because I don't feel like he's had a board that is going to back him up or back up common sense. So I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. But I give that benefit of the doubt spiel to people still. People just don't even care anymore. They just don't trust him. So I hope because I do have some really close friends that are related to him, and I do still believe in him. So I hope he can get it together and he can help rally candidates like you and other candidates to back him up with common sense policies, because whether or not I know him or I know his family or whatever, I don't care. I want someone in there that's going to get the job done, that's going to clean up these streets. And I'm sick of the crime as well, man.
I do have a close friend who's in the fire department for a long time, and he knows Mayor Enriquez and has nothing but good to say about him. Mm-hmm. But you made a very good point. If you don't have the backing, we have Bill Matisse sitting there on the council, an expert in business development. And what has that got us? They won't listen to him.
Well, I love the guy even more now, because if you just go to a city council meeting or even watch the highlights on YouTube, the guy makes a ton of sense, and he's over there hooting and hollering and pounding his fist for basic stuff that the people want. He's actually representing. You can see the things that he says, the crowd cheers, and it's like, man, this guy is a freaking fighter. He's a hero. I love that guy. He earns so much more respect from me,
And he was the only one on that, what was it called, Revitalize Las Cruces,
Yes,
that spoke up. And I think and we knew that it was, it was going to go to the left's way. Yeah. But at least he made a suggestion and said, let's just take this. There's some things that will work in here. Let's take this back to the drawing board, kind of clean up a few things and see what we can do. And that's where I have to say I was disappointed in our mayor, because he could have at least sided with him if that's what he really felt, because that was a very fair thing to bring up. But nobody else. And Councilor Matisse was the only one. And yeah, I think you're right. If you could get, Ronnie Cisneros is also running, you're running, hopefully there's some other conservatives running, and at least we could have some representation, which is what we need in our community.
The end of that meeting, that Realize Las Cruces meeting, that was very disrespectful. I was the last speaker. And so I walked up to the lobby, and all of a sudden I heard a lot of cheering, and I thought everyone was cheering because I was the last speaker. They wouldn't have to wait anymore. They were cheering because they made their vote. They didn't wait. Everyone was expecting comments from all 6 councilors, and Bill Matisse was going to make comments. They just cut straight to the vote and said, boom, it's out. And
it's a mockery. It's a mockery of a republic democracy, a democratic republic, rather. Because they're not representing the people, and they throw it in your face when they don't deliberate and consider the public's comments. That is just a piece of mud in our face. They throw mud in our face with that.
Oh, and remember, it wasn't that long ago too, because our own CCIA Juan Garcia and Sarah Smith, they wanted to have all the comments, like you had to wait till the very end of the meeting. Remember, but they fought that, and because it was a way to shut us up.
Yeah,
and that way people aren't going to hang around. Some people don't have 3 hours to stay through the whole meeting to say things. So I mention this because things can happen. They really can.
I'm going to make a little comment about decorum there and people that go for public comment. The first time I went to public comment, I was very nervous. I didn't want to be there, but things are just so bad I had to go. And that's the way people are. Mm-hmm. People are just, they're there, they're scared, they're giving their comment, and they're treated with disdain and derision, and yet they're trying to help. The people that are there to help are treated that way, and it's even gotten worse. I won't go that far, but they should welcome every person that shows up there, no matter who it is. It seems like half that the people that are there really trying to help, like
what's a boss? You wouldn't say, your boss.
Yeah.
You'd be a little respectful, right?
It's the latest group that formed Businesses for a Safer Las Cruces. They formed from the most noble of purposes, of reasons, and I don't like the way they've been treated up at their podium.
No, they're just pro law enforcement. That's like they want safer streets. There's a direct correlation, guys, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. Direct correlation between less crime. A city that has a lot less crime has a better economy. The economy is correlated with crime. So if you guys want more jobs, you want more outside business investment into our communities to revitalize, which I think everybody does, we got to get safer streets. And so it's just common sense to clean up the crime so we can have better local business, small business, that hire all these people that bring in all these tax dollars so we can, improve our city. And you know that, Rick, you know that. So, you're talking to a progressive on the city council. It just goes right over their head, even though we have tangible proof that this is the case. It's just a kind of a delusion that we have to deal with here.
Well, I'll add a little snip on business, on the drag on business. In many office buildings in Las Cruces, including ours, you have to lock the doors during the day. So you have to coordinate with the UPS driver. Things like that happen all over town in office buildings. Why does it just have to be that way? And then retail, well, it's just people in the parking lot, people walking in, walking out. They shoplift on their phone and they walk out of Family Dollar on the phone. They can't be bothered. Things like that are happening, and maybe a little bit less is happening. I'm not sure, but it's so disrespectful to the workers. Across the street, I was checking out, and the lady turned, and I didn't know what she was doing, and she said, "This will get you in trouble if you work." She said, "You're going to pay for that?" And he walked out on his phone, just whistling and talking away, and it was just. It's kind of the broken window effect of society, and that's what's happening in Las Cruces. So I hope to change that.
So bold. They just decided to do that because they put, I'll probably get away with it. And this correlates directly into President Trump, D.C. He's gone in there, and D.C., I still don't think they've had a murder since he's implemented that new policy.
A couple robberies, but no murders.
Right, no murders, which is a big, big impact. So now some of the blue cities, they're kind of pissed off. Oh, Trump's going to send in, the National Guard and things. However, even that is turning around a little bit because people are reacting and saying, yes, we want a safe city to live in. And our own New Mexico is on the list, right? To be considered.
They're going to be coming here. I'm sure they are.
I mean, give me your thoughts on that, Rick. I'm curious.
There's a great meme going around, and it's those Democratic mayors telling Trump, "You leave our crime alone."
Yeah.
And it's just silliness. It's just at some point they have to cave in, and they will. Did you see the tape of Muriel Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C.?
No.
Oh, she was completely admitting, "Thank you, Trump."
She had a turnaround.
Oh, yes. Look for that one. Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C., and the residents of D.C. that really get affected by crime, they're saying, "Thank you, Mr. Trump." Mm-hmm. It's the crowd of old 70-year-old hippies out there saying, "Trump, get out of town." But the real people, the people that are hurt, welcome it.
Yeah, I've seen people of color or whatever, different young people, and they're like, "Yeah, Trump is, we're so happy, we're happy." So they just can't deny reality anymore. I think that's what they've been trying to do, and I'm so hopeful in that respect.
Yeah, they can't. President Trump. I'll say this about him real quick on this. I mean, he had a really funny little clip the other day. They interviewed him at the White House, and he's like, "The Democrats like crime. I don't know why, but they like crime." It's the only reason you can come up with as to why it just continues to get worse in the cities. But I'm a little frustrated. It was funny to me. I was actually going to post a video about that. But what's not funny is the fact that it's not like they're doing this serendipitously. It's not like they're doing this off of incompetence, guys. You guys got to understand that this is purposefully done. No one can be that dumb to go ahead and do these types of policies where these cities are just a wreck. Every single Democrat city in this country has been dealing with crime at a higher level than we're dealing with it. And it's pretty freaking bad here, guys. Pretty dang bad. There's homelessness everywhere. There's needles everywhere. It's just these people, you can tell when they're about to die. I hate to say this, but they get really, especially recently, it was in the news that we've had a really huge influx of the stronger amount of fentanyl. I think it's called Flocka. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's called, but
Flocka.
I saw that.
Yeah, they're killing. Wow. People are dying of ODs now more than ever here in Las Cruces, guys. So, these Democrat cities, these Democrat policies are not from them. I don't believe. I think that they're being influenced from some kind of ominous agenda that I'm sure will be disclosed in the near future. At this pace, it should be, right?
I believe the top 20 cities with the highest crime are all run by Democratic mayors. You might have to check me on that, but it's
right
something about like that.
Well,
I doubt it.
I do know that a lot of the cities, they just stopped accounting for the crime. They stopped reporting it. So they're real quick to go back and say, "Oh, Republican ran cities, Republican has this." But it's like, dude, you guys don't even, count the amounts of crime that are going on anymore. They do that here in Las Cruces. You don't hear or see issues that are going on in the news anymore at all. It's completely buried here.
I agree. When my wife was confronted in my office by a homeless person, we didn't call and report it. When my building, my landlord's building gets a little bit of graffiti on it, he doesn't call the police and say, "Hey, I got $37 worth of damage." So it's just things just go downhill. And among the homeless, I'll bet there's a lot of crimes not reported. We heard from our sources that down there near the Desert Hope Apartments, a homeless woman had just gotten $100. Well, they broke her arm and took the $100. Is that reported? I don't know.
Wow.
So things like that are going on just all the time. It's a free for all among the homeless. They live in their own society, and they live in the storm drains. I know that near Fringer Park.
Yeah.
And they're down on. Well, they're everywhere. They're behind the dam. Fred Huff is working on a camping ordinance, which should help.
Smart.
You shouldn't need things like that. I'm sure there is a no camping out ordinance here in the Cruces. When I was younger and you were sleeping in your car in the parking lot, the cops would come and say, "Hey, go home." And so they would clear the parking lots, the private parking lots. Many moons ago. But
and I want to say something about that because I'm a big believer in bringing back a curfew, like when you and I were younger. But even just coming here, okay, so I took from St. Genevieve's, I took Loman, and there's what's that? Ditch Arroyo.
Don't tell them where we are.
Oh, that's right, somewhere. Anyway, that's right.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't care. They know where we are.
But anyway, well, I've seen it before, and there was this young man. He could have been more than 20, and he had a shopping cart there. So I thought he's getting ready to camp out, like you say, and camp out for the night and do that. But I do want to ask you quick about curfew. I'm big on this. I would like to see the return of a curfew. When you and I were younger, I think it was if you were under 18 and you could only be out super late, like if you had a job or a reason to be out. And there's no curfew at this point in Las Cruces. And that wouldn't solve all the problems, but I think it would help. Do you have an opinion on that?
It may help, and we're at out of control crime numbers now, so it would be something to try. Everything's out of control. Juvenile crime is out of control in the schools. I was told by one of my clients that came in, and he said Gadsden is run by the drug activity happening at Gadsden High School is run by the cartels. And I said, no.
Whoa.
So.
Oh, my goodness.
I was kind of stunned, but that's where my mother went to high school. My mother, in Gaston, but way back in 1957, my mother was the salutatorian of Gaston High School, Josefa Munoz.
Wow.
And
name dropping with the Munoz, huh?
Yeah, and now for all you people educated by Las Cruces Public Schools, salutatorian means second in class. Okay, so
like the valedictorian and then the salutatorian.
Then the salutatorian.
I was going to guess that, and I said, I don't want to get it wrong. That's a big deal.
Means you're not a dummy.
You got some smart genes.
I got it from her, and she had challenges that she never mentioned her whole life. And and I'll get into that later. I may
yeah, we'll have you back on.
We'll have you back.
I just saw the J.D. Vance movie actually right before I came in here.
Oh, the Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, man, that was a damn good movie. You know, he's an awesome guy. You know, I like the guy. I never really became a big J.D. Vance fan, other than that. You know, President Trump endorsing him. I like him obviously, and I knew a little bit about him, but that was a really good movie. And it sounds very similar to your situation. Your mom had gone through some stuff. That generation just is, you know, we're so fortunate to have what we have now. I'm talking about the millennials. Like my dad had a whole different kind of upbringing. You know, it's like abuse was the norm, alcoholism was the norm. He literally walked to school like 10 miles every single day, wore the same clothes every day. Like they grew up a lot different than the way I grew up. So I always have a lot more. That's why I respect my elders so much, because, hey man, people get soft, and that's why we're running into a lot of problems here in America. You know, because the other generations before us have made things so awesome that these little punk kids now, a lot of them ain't got no freaking respect. But anyway, that's a tangential. What else is going on here, guys? I think you know, Rick Reynaud has a really good shot at this. You know, we really shouldn't be endorsing anybody, but it's hard for me not to be biased because I've been to war with this guy. I mean, figuratively speaking, of course, not violently. but I know so much about him. We've become friends over the years, and it's just so refreshing to have someone like him with common sense values actually run. And so, I'll leave the door open. If there's someone else that wants to debate, come on the show and debate. We'll love to have you. We won't,
I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know unless, there is, like I say. But at this point today, if I had to vote, even though it's a stupid ranked choice voting that I hate, we'll talk about that too. But Rick's my guy, just because what I've known with him, I've worked with him politically. And, it's we haven't known each other for years and years and years. But everything that I've seen you do, your thinking and your thought process would well represent the Las Cruces community, representation we don't have right now. And I'm so glad and happy that you're running. Thank you.
It's always some Yahoo that's not from here that ends up winning. It's like, this guy's actually from here. How long have you been here, Rick?
Since 1960.
We went to
Couple years ago.
Lynn Middle School. Lynn Middle School alone makes you as low. I can't get away from you, Lynn Middle School people.
Well, yeah, Lynn Junior High, then it turned into middle school. Now it's a community school.
Oh, it's not even a middle school anymore?
No, it's a middle school and it's a community school.
I have no idea what that even means.
Yeah.
They have laundry facilities for parents to come in.
What?
It's ridiculous. Usually you go to school when you're a kid and the final bell rings and you would just
You're
want to run out of there. But they want people to come back. They have laundry facilities, like I said, and
way.
classes at night. And on our dime, on the taxpayer dime.
Wait, we got a laundromat in Lynn Middle School right now.
Oh, they have some washers and dryers for some of the parents to come in. They're taking care of the parents also.
This is a whole new area of topics when we interview our school board candidates. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
You didn't even know about it, Zeke.
I had
That's
no clue.
amazing.
If you interview the school board candidates, ask them about Lynn Middle School, the community school features, and you may be surprised.
Well, let's walk it back to Las Cruces a bit, because I think, a couple of big topics with the economy, the government housing, that's one thing. But, I think everybody's going to want to ask you, so let's get it out in the open. What do you plan on doing with the homeless people, the people who are on drugs, who are in the streets? I mean, this is a big topic for me personally. I'd love to hear, what your thoughts are on that.
Well, my thoughts are the housing first model, which I just saw a blurb on it. Housing first, they will take a person not necessarily off drugs yet, and they'll move them into a house. Mm-hmm. And that's totally opposite of what we all know from Alcoholics Anonymous, for instance. You get off alcohol, then you go to the meeting. Mm-hmm. During an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, they don't say, "Hey, I got a beer here for anyone that wants to have it. I know you haven't fully quit yet, but I got some." It's silliness. We have proven, evidence-based, that housing first without the person sobriety requirements, it does not work. So we have the money. We've been working. I was on the homeless, Mayor Ken's homeless task force, and he listened to us. We came up with ideas. We know we need a mental health facility in southern New Mexico, if only for that silly competency issue. We have the money to help them. And we're not doing it. We're a guy I see near my house. He sleeps in the desert, comes to the corner, and does his job all day. I think he eats, and he goes out to the desert again. And the next morning he's there right on time and he begging for a few hours. But what's the plan to rehabilitate him? He looks like a carpenter the way he's dressed. Are they getting him back into the carpentry trade? They're not doing anything for him. Mm-hmm. So
well, they're spending quite a bit of money. These affordable housing units. Millions and millions of dollars. And that scares me.
Affordable housing should be done by the private sector. Las Cruces needs to ease out of the affordable housing business because they're not housing experts. I was told that, and I know they could, Las Cruces builders could do it better, maybe build better houses, maybe make it more affordable, and then you wouldn't call it affordable housing. There's a stigma. Affordable housing?
I agree with that.
I'm raising a family and we're going to move into affordable housing units.
Yeah, I'm the victim. I'm indigent. I need affordable housing because I can't afford it. I get that. That makes a lot of sense.
And equity. They cite equity. Well, who would want to live in the... So that's generational poverty. They're always talking about generational poverty. Right. Well... 30 years you live there and you can't make more than a certain amount. And I know I've I've heard of situations where the person doesn't get a second job, doesn't make more money. I can't make any more money because then I can't stay here and get these benefits. And it's just a backward society. It's not what we grew up with.
Absolutely. We're getting down to like our last few minutes of the show, and we will have you back, Rick.
Yeah, I can talk to you forever, man.
Rick Reynaud, just to remind our audience, he is running for the Las Cruces City Council. November is the election already. He's running in district number 6. But just remember, even if you don't live in his district, but you live in Las Cruces and you would like to see someone like this represent you, he will be a vote on the council. So you could help him out with a few bucks, or just even telling people about him, or even just passing the link to our show to let people know about it. So why don't you take the last few minutes, kind of say a closing statement, and maybe a few things you haven't covered that you wanted to.
Well, one thing I could bring is my experience at my small business, beyond the rampant crime, and that is, I have a relationship because I am part of the permit process for city and county construction. They have to get a stormwater permit. So that's why my business exists. So over the past 8 years, I've met every single, almost every home builder, developer. For the last year, I must know 90% of them, of people that are building things on pieces of land bigger than 1 acre in this county or in southern New Mexico. And they trust me. And I've talked to them when they're in my office about concerns about building the permitting process. One thing I will say, there's a guy in my office last week. It took 14 months for him to get a permit. So he was paying a mortgage on a vacant piece of land for 14 months. Well, that's negative economic development. That's something we could fix for free if we had the resolve. There's so many money, there's so many millions floating around City Hall. They could hire a guy and put him over at community development. The county could do the same and just help us along, help us where we can do things.
So that sounds like a real solution. Sounds like a real candidate.
Well, and that's the whole thing, is that the permitting process is a big deal, guys, for economic development, for jobs. And, we talk about poverty. It's like they shipped our jobs out of America through NAFTA decades ago. China has all of our manufacturing jobs. They make all of our pharmaceuticals. The chips have been made overseas. Well, guess what? President Trump brings $16 trillion since the last time I checked. It's probably more now, to bring all those types of jobs back here. Okay, making chips, manufacturing, making our pharmaceutical drugs here locally. And so, unfortunately here in New Mexico, the bigger problem is not only do we not have jobs for these people, but the workforce here isn't even educated enough to take those jobs. Yeah. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the back end. But for now, we just don't have a dog in the fight. Let's not even get into that topic. Let's just get a decently conservative, common sense guy in there so we can stop getting hammered. We're getting hammered on the crime, on the economy, in every which way you can think of. This city has been under attack. In my opinion, this is a solution. Supporting candidates like Mr. Reynaud. Again, if you're running against Mr. Reynaud, don't take any offense. I'm just being very forthcoming about my relationship with him. I will love to have you guys on a debate. I'll stay out of it. We'll get a unbiased moderator, and you guys can have it out, because that's what the people deserve. For now, though, this man is running for office, and the city should know that someone like you is running for city council, man.
That's good. Do you have a website, Rick, or anything? It's Rick Reynaud, and it's Reynaud. Did I spell that right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, you did.
Right, okay.
And I should have a website up on Tuesday or Wednesdays. We'll get the word out. We have a bigger social media presence here in Las Cruces. More pages, conservative pages. So we'll get to walking later next week. I'm looking forward to that.
And we'll have you back, Rick. Thanks so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you. Yeah, we got new equipment on, new guests on. We're gonna start having more guests. We're gonna have phone in some guests and stuff here, and it's just something that we love doing, giving back to the community. Thank you guys for everything. Call to action, like Alice said. If you like the show, you want more of the show, share it. Share the show, like the posts, and we'll keep bringing local news.
Just before we go, as always, prayer.
Prayer time. Okay, we got prayer time. Let's do this. Lord, thank you so much. Again, I always try to pray in gratitude, because there is so much to be grateful for, Lord. We were getting hammered a year ago before President Trump won, but now a year later, we have so much hope, and we have amazing candidates running for our local government like Mr. Reynaud. And I just pray that you protect him, and I pray that you give him the wisdom and the fortitude to do the right thing and to win this race so he can help our community thrive, Lord. And thank you for everyone else that's supporting him. Thank his family for supporting him as well. And thank you for Alice for all that she does for the community and for Chips and Salsa Show. And thank the community for supporting us. We wouldn't be here being able to give local candidates a platform if it wasn't for the support of the New Mexico and Las Cruces community. So thank you, Lord, for all of that. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their week, rest of their weekend. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Sweet. Nicely done as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Chips and Salsa Show, New Mexico. Hasta la vista.
Rick, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you for having me on.
Run, Rick, run.
I was going to add something that I heard yesterday.